In 2019, a major international law firm was engaged to conduct due diligence on a multi-billion-dollar merger. The objective was highly specific, yet monumental in scale. They needed to review 14,000 contracts. 30 attorneys were immediately assigned to the matter. Based on standard metrics, the projected timeline was 6 weeks of continuous, dedicated review. Instead, by utilizing an AI contract review platform called Kira Systems, 2 attorneys completed that entire review in exactly 4 days. They processed the exact same documents, adhering to the identical legal standard. It's important to understand that this isn't some theoretical projection about the future of legal practice. This is documented historical precedent. Welcome to this explainer on LegalAI Decoded. Today, we're conducting a strictly factual, evidence-based evaluation of AI contract review. We're going to bypass the abstract concepts and examine the precise underlying mechanics of this technology. Our goal is to establish exactly how it operates within the framework of modern legal practice. Our evaluation today is going to follow a very strict structural framework. First, we'll examine the contract volume problem. Second, we'll break down the 5-step AI review process. Third, we'll map the top 5 market-leading tools to their specific practice contexts.
Fourth, we will candidly assess the technology's strengths and crucial limitations. And fifth, we'll provide a practical implementation framework for your firm or department.
Let's begin with Section 1, the contract volume problem, understanding the macroeconomic scale. If we return to that Kira Systems M&A case study, the immediate anchor point for our analysis has to be the sheer volume. 14,000 documents required for immediate due diligence.
For any traditional legal team operating without automation, this volume creates an inevitable systemic bottleneck. It demands a massive allocation of highly trained personnel just to execute the initial first-pass review. Simply managing the logistics, assembling the team, standardizing their review criteria, and handling version control immediately dictates and prolongs the entire deal timeline.
The material contrast between manual review and AI-assisted review is stark. As we noted, 30 attorneys require 6 weeks to process this data manually. That's thousands of billable hours dedicated purely to extraction. Conversely, 2 attorneys utilizing a calibrated AI model completed the same review in 4 days. The efficiency gap between 4 days and 6 weeks is undeniable. It represents a fundamental shift in the operational timeline of corporate transactions. You're effectively moving due diligence from a multi-week hurdle to a multi-day process. Now, zooming out from a single M&A transaction, the macro-level problem becomes highly evident. The average Fortune 500 company currently executes between 20,000 and 40,000 contracts annually. Furthermore, contract dispute litigation currently costs U.S. businesses over $60 billion every single year. It's absolutely critical to understand that the majority of these costly disputes do not stem from catastrophic intentional breaches. They stem from ambiguous language, missing clauses, asymmetric indemnification terms, or non-standard provisions that simply slipped through the initial review process.
And this outcome is not driven by attorney incompetence. It is driven entirely by high volume and cognitive load. A human attorney reading a 50-page commercial agreement for the 4th time in a single week simply cannot maintain peak analytical capacity. The human brain is just not optimized for repetitive text extraction at that kind of scale.
The empirical evidence regarding accuracy highlights a structural mechanical advantage for these machine learning models. According to the 2024 Deloitte Legal Technology Study, AI contract review identifies up to 90% of standard clause-level risk on the first pass. By contrast, that same Deloitte study notes the average for human reviewers on the first pass is 72%. That is a verifiable 18-point accuracy advantage over manual human review when identifying standard, definable risks. The AI simply doesn't suffer from end-of-day fatigue. In addition to this accuracy gap, the speed metric is equally well documented. A 2024 McKinsey Global Institute study confirmed that AI contract review is 90% faster than manual attorney review.
When you combine an 18-point accuracy advantage with a verified 90% reduction in processing time, you establish the empirical baseline for the technology. This specific synthesis of superior speed and sustained accuracy is the precise reason we are seeing such rapid industry adoption across AM law firms and corporate in-house departments.
Moving to Section 2, the 5-step AI process, demystifying the technology. The technical process of AI contract review is not a black box. It follows 5 distinct, systematic steps. Step 1 is document ingestion. The contract is uploaded and the system converts the document into machine-readable text in a matter of seconds. It scales effortlessly, whether the document is 5 pages or 500. Step 2 is clause identification. The natural language processing model tirelessly scans every single sentence, structurally identifying and labeling every clause type, from indemnification to dispute resolution and limitation of liability. Step 3 is risk flagging. The system automatically compares those identified clauses against predefined risk parameters, strictly enforcing your firm's customized playbook. Step 4 is deviation reporting. The AI generates a structured, actionable report. It categorizes non-standard clauses, highlights missing protections, and isolates high-risk provisions. Finally, Step 5 is summary generation. The system produces an executive brief. The reviewing attorney doesn't start with a blank page. Instead, they begin with a comprehensive structural analysis, which immediately accelerates their strategic review. This brings us to Section 3, Top 5 Market-Leading Tools, Mapping Platforms to Practice Contexts. Let's methodically break down the specific practice contexts for the current market leaders. You have to match the tool to the task. First, Harvey AI has become the baseline standard for large Am Law 100 firms. It is highly suited for complex commercial contracts and integrates seamlessly with existing enterprise document management infrastructure. Second, Kira Systems remains the benchmark for M&A due diligence. It is engineered specifically for analyzing large, unstructured document sets rapidly, which is exactly what we saw in that 14,000 document case study. Third, we have Luminance. Developed by researchers from Oxford and Cambridge, Luminance is built for international practice. It utilizes robust multilingual NLP capabilities to analyze cross-border agreements across varying legal jurisdictions. Fourth, LawGeeks is the definitive champion for in-house legal departments. It manages standard commercial agreements at high volume, and it excels at enforcing organizational playbooks across hundreds of routine vendor agreements. Finally, ContractPod AI moves beyond the initial review phase. It's optimal for enterprise contract lifecycle management. It systematically tracks obligations, compliance, and renewals long after the execution date is passed.
Section 4. Strengths and Crucial Limitations. What AI gets right and what it misses.
Before we outline the limitations, we have to acknowledge where AI demonstrates clear mechanical superiority. It provides unmatched speed at scale. Processing a 200-page contract takes the system the same amount of time as a 10-page NDA. It offers absolute consistency. It never suffers fatigue after 12 hours of review. And it guarantees structural clause completeness by enforcing a firm playbook with zero variance. However, human judgment remains completely irreplaceable. AI cannot assess business context. It cannot weigh whether an aggressive indemnification clause is commercially acceptable given a client's specific immediate risk tolerance. Furthermore, it cannot formulate a negotiation strategy, assess the counterparty's leverage, or navigate highly complex industry nuances, such as pharmacovigilance regulations in the life sciences sector. Most importantly, AI cannot weigh long-term relationship considerations. It cannot tell you when it's strategically advantageous to compromise on a minor contractual deviation in order to preserve a critical ongoing business partnership. And this brings us to the core thesis of our evaluation today. AI is a precision first-pass tool. It is not a replacement for attorney judgment.
AI merely elevates the baseline of what an attorney's strategic judgment operates on. You're no longer spending hours manually deciding what to look at. You're immediately applying your legal strategy and expertise to the structured data the AI has already surfaced. It firmly shifts the attorney's role from manual data extraction to high-level strategic analysis.
Section 5. Your implementation framework, from evaluation to integration. For legal professionals prepared to strategically deploy these platforms, the implementation framework requires 3 practical, measured steps. Step 1, identify your highest volume contract type. Don't begin with highly complex, bespoke transactions. Start with standard, high-volume documents like vendor agreements or NDAs to establish a clear baseline and measure immediate ROI.
Step 2, run a parallel review test. Take 10 contracts your firm has already processed and run them through the AI platform. You need to compare the AI's risk flags against your attorney's prior manual work to understand exactly where and how to calibrate your new workflow.
Step 3, build or adopt a firm playbook. AI performs optimally when it has a defined standard to enforce. Standardizing your firm's acceptable positions on key clause types is what actually transforms the AI from a generic scanning tool into a highly calibrated, automated enforcement mechanism for your specific practice. The adoption of this technology represents a fundamental shift in the value of an attorney's time. The legal professionals who properly integrate these systems will operate faster, capture more risk, and serve more clients, all without sacrificing rigorous quality standards. Those who don't will inevitably find themselves competing against firms operating at entirely different margins of operational efficiency. Thank you for joining this explainer on Legal AI Decoded. We want to leave you with one final critical evaluation of your own operations. Is AI contract review already part of your practice?